Hello and welcome to another edition of Connect with Ivy Tech. I'm the marketing coordinator for the Ivy Tech Richmond, Connersville, and Rushville campus, and my name is Phil Quinn. Thank you for being with us today. We've got a great show for you, and we'll talk with Stacy Atkinson, Vice Chancellor of the college, about 8-week courses, and another group of 8-week courses just getting underway here in this month of March. And we'll also talk to several different women about Circle of Ivy. It's a group that started by the foundation that really does a lot to help students succeed in the classroom and outside of the classroom and into the workplace. But first, we're going to be joined by Darrell Decker. He is with Career Development at Ivy Tech, and we're talking about the workplace, Darrell. At some point, I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the other things you do, but what's really important here is the Indiana General Assembly passed a law that went into effect in January called Gateway to Work. Can you describe that and then the reason why it's such an important thing for our community?
Well, it's an important thing for our community because Ivy Tech fits the education piece to that. Okay, so for those Indiana residents who are on HIP, they will need to do 4 things to qualify for receiving future benefits. And one of them is education, and that's the piece that we'll fill in, and that's a space we operate in and do it very well.
Yeah, well, because from what has been explained to me when you talk to Reed Health and the health care provider in town is that these Healthy Indiana Assurance Plan members, and there's quite a few of them in the area in which we serve students, they could lose their coverage if they're not doing one of several things.
That's exactly right. So they could volunteer for one thing, excuse me, and then they could get a job right away. They could do some job training, which we could also fill in that piece, or they could start school to get that future job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they don't do one of those things, they could lose their insurance.
They lose their insurance, that is correct. So Indiana is trying to get ahead of that, and that's why they've partnered with Ivy Tech and Reed Health, other individuals, especially in this community. We're trying to get out ahead of that, so we don't want that nasty surprise when someone goes to the emergency room and then find out that they don't have insurance.
And one of the things that's important about this new law is that there are, of course, exclusions. There are people that may be watching this that are Healthy Indiana Plan that are disabled, or maybe they're older or hit a certain age mark. There are certainly a lot of those exemptions available. However, I think when some people hear, well, we need you to go back to school, it certainly doesn't mean you have to go back to school and get an associate's degree. There actually are some other ways to take care of that.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And that, again, that is the space that we operate best in. Someone can come back to Ivy Tech Richmond and just seek a certificate or certification. Some of those are as few as 18 credit hours, which is about 6 classes. They can go on to a larger certificate, about 30 credit hours. And if they love school, and they should, then they can go for the 2-year degree if that's what they choose, and then go on to a 4-year degree if needed.
We've had, just in the small time that we've had this show running, we have talked about those certificates and what they are, but explain that just a little bit more. There are some jobs that don't require an associate's degree, but they just a little bit of extra training before they can hire you.
Yeah, and we'll call that post-secondary education, or for lack of a better word, workforce training. Again, those, and I don't want anyone to get certificates mixed up with certifications.
Okay.
A certificate is just a bundle of classes that you would earn at Ivy Tech. Now, a lot of those individual classes, and maybe even the entire program, will lead to a certification recognized by the state or by the country. You know, some of these are very portable. They could travel globally with them. Yeah.
And a lot of these jobs where you need a certificate, they're still paying really well.
Oh yeah, that's yes, it is. I am preparing students, or helping prepare students for jobs that will. Yeah, they'll step into the marketplace and do extremely well.
Right. Yeah. One of the parts about this program with the Healthy Indiana Plan HIP 2.0, a lot of people know it. The state is trying to contact these individuals and say, just so you know, you have to do something. But in order to qualify for that HIP 2.0 program, there are requirements. Some of those are income, but those same kind of income requirements allow for there to be a significant amount of your school that can be paid for through financial aid. I mean, these Healthy Indiana Insurance Plan members also qualify for a lot of financial aid.
Right, and that's true, and that is another good part about Ivy Tech is most of our students do qualify for some type of financial aid, grant money, federal money. But there's also, the state of Indiana is going to, they have programs will kick in what we call the last dollar amount.
Okay.
So whatever federal financial aid does not cover and state financial aid does not cover, then the other state workforce piece may cover.
Right.
So yeah, it's, I don't want that, I don't want HIP recipients to fear the cost of getting this certificate or certification or degree.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems as though some of the folks that will qualify for this program or be required to enter into this program, some of them may not have been in the workforce for some time, right. And they may think that the stacks against them, the cards are stacked against them. So we have to do a job, and especially for those folks that are watching today, there may be someone that you know that's a HIP 2.0 member, and we need you to help us relay the message
yes.
that they need to be proactive as opposed to doing what we think is going to happen, which is they go to a pharmacy and they get ready to put their insurance card down, and the pharmacy goes, I can't sell these, you don't qualify for the coverage any longer, and that could happen.
Oh, it very well could happen, right. So that's why we need all the help we can get getting the word out.
Yeah.
We just we need to really just get onto our campus.
Right.
We have that Express Enrollment Center, student service professionals that will help them figure out a way to get
right.
into classes.
Right.
Yeah.
When we talked, there was an information session that the state was invited to, and Reed Health and yourself all participated in. And we had heard that the number could be close to 15,000 HIP members that could be affected just in our area.
Just in our area, yeah.
Oh boy. Well, we certainly have to make sure that people understand that program's available. Darrell, we've just got a couple of minutes before we wrap up our interview. When somebody says, I work in career development, when it comes to Ivy Tech, what does that mean for what you do to help students that are getting ready to finish at Ivy Tech get into the workforce?
Right. Well, most colleges and universities have a career services department, and that is sort of like tailored towards once a student is ready to graduate and get into the workforce, and that's like resume help, cover letter help, interviewing skills, things like that. But Ivy Tech has taken a much more proactive approach to that. We will do, if Phil Quinn was to walk into our doors and say, I'm really not sure what program of study because I don't really want to know what I want to do for a living. Well, that's where career development comes in.
Okay.
We have free assessments. We'll try to figure out the best academic and career pathway for that student. And then let's just say that's at the very beginning of a student's career at Ivy Tech, for lack of a better word. Then we do professional development in the meantime, and then we'll but once they're ready to graduate, then we can start working on the resume skills and the interviewing skills, things like that. So
those soft skills are important, and those connections are really important too to employers, which I know you serve in that role too.
Exactly. We get a lot of phone calls from local area employers who just say, hey, that's great. You've got a student who has fantastic technical skills, but we really need you to work with them on the soft skills. Take an initiative. Time management is a big one, things like that. Those are the skills they'll pick up at Ivy Tech or that the career development department can help them with.
Darrell Decker, he plays a very important role at Ivy Tech. Thanks for talking to us about the Gateway to Work program. There are websites. Google search Gateway to Work and you will find it. You can also go to ivytech.edu. Coming up in just a moment, our conversation with Stacy Atkinson, Vice Chancellor of Ivy Tech's Richmond, Connersville, Rushville campuses. She's going to tell us about 8-week courses and why they are just the coolest thing going. Join us. Welcome to Connect with Ivy Tech. We're actually on location at the campus, and we're joined with Stacy Atkinson, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Ivy Tech Richmond, Connersville, and Rushville campuses. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Great. Thanks for having me, Phil.
You are the guru, the go-to expert when it comes to the 8-week course
I'm
program.
one of them.
That's
There are
right.
many.
There
I am one
are,
of them.
But I've heard podcasts you talking about it.
Correct.
I've seen speeches. I've seen you standing next to the president of the college,
is
Sue
true.
Ellspermann. And so I know that when we talk about 8-week courses, you're the go-to.
One of them.
That's right. But for
But the
me,
one here.
the one for me.
Got it.
Okay. So 8-week courses, it sounds like 8 weeks is really short.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Fair.
But I don't know. I mean, a lot of the experiences that I get talking with faculty at Ivy Tech, I never knew that a semester was 16 weeks. So let's start there. So normal
Okay.
semester is 16 weeks.
Yes.
So this is a program or courses that are cut in half?
Sort of cut in half. So what happens here is in 16 weeks, a lot can happen. 16 weeks is a long time. It was never the standard in research for how long semesters should be. But we adopted 16 weeks, and most of our courses were delivered in 16 weeks for spring and fall. What we learned is that a lot happens to students in 16 weeks. There's a lot of opportunity for life to get in the way and for our students not to be successful. Many institutions have moved to an 8-week semester, 2 terms in a full 16-week semester, to ensure that in 8 weeks they can be focused, students can be focused on the coursework, and hopefully not have life instances happen, as 8 weeks is a shorter time period. The initiative came from wanting to increase student success in coursework. So our increase in 8-week courses is an effort to ensure that more students succeed in their desired timeframe.
So what's been the reaction? How long has the program been in place, and what are students saying about it?
So we're in the second semester of actually increasing intentionally 8-week course offerings. It's not a split, so we didn't ask instructors to take a 16-week semester and split it in half. That wasn't an appropriate way to increase student success. We've actually asked them to be very intentional about things and make your assignments more student focused, make sure the students have things to do on their own outside of the classroom. So that we're in semester 2, and we're going to go through a 3-year phase of phase 1 for Ivy Tech, and hope to get at scale at a percentage that each campus has decided. Here on the Richmond campus, we'll get somewhere between 85 and 90% of our course offerings in an 8-week format by year 3.
Well, that sounds like that's leading the way in how education is moving forward.
I would say that the Richmond campus leads the way in many initiatives, and it was no surprise when I got here in December of 2017 that we were already leading the way in 8-week courses. Our medical assisting program was already in an 8-week course format with some really great success rates. Our human services program was already in an 8-week format, again with really great success rates. So they became our pioneers on campus, and our faculty went to them and looked to them for, how do we do this? How do you make it work so that we can do it in all of our other programs? We've had some really tremendous success. We went from 21% of our courses in 8-week courses to 53% was our first jump. We'll move to about 72 by the fall of 2019, and then again we'll take another jump to about 85 and hopefully land between 85 and 90 by the time 2021 arrives.
Well, now let's talk about some of the completions. Have you started to already see an increase in the number of completions because of the 8-week course?
So medical assisting took a little bit of a lag time, so they had an opportunity to sort of increase the number of courses they were offering in totality so that they can get students completed. This will help students complete faster. They'll be able to still take a full-time load, but they'll be able to do it in a format that they can complete sooner. So depending on what our enrollment looks like and how students persist through and they stay with us and under our care, I believe that we will increase the number of completions. Students will succeed, which means they will have a carrot to continue on and persist with us and make it to completion.
With us kind of doing this interview at Johnson Hall on this campus, and we can look out the window and see I-70, is that one of the advantages of the 8-week course program, to also be attractive to maybe people that are not from Wayne County, they're from Randolph County or maybe over in Ohio? Do 8 weeks kind of make that commitment even a little bit less of gas and childcare and some of those things? Is that on purpose too?
I think for students who find, or people who find attending college daunting and difficult and go in and say, there's no way that I can commit to a full 16 weeks. It's just not the right time in my life. People who struggle with childcare issues, people who struggle with transportation, they have to figure those things out for a much shorter period of time, which on the same basis increases student success. It helps them not have issues with childcare. It helps them not have transportation issues. They really only have to figure it out for a shorter time frame. I think it gives people the chance to believe in themselves and believe, I can maybe not do 16, can't really commit to that right now, but I can probably commit to a course or two in an 8-week format. I think it does speak to success rates and the confidence level of anyone thinking about coming to Ivy Tech.
We should mention that 8-week courses are going to be starting again soon. Classes start on March the 18th. And even if you're watching this and it's after March the 18th, there's another 8 weeks coming soon.
Right.
I mean, that's
really
a
great benefit of the 8-week program is we now have 5 on-ramps for students. They don't have to come at the beginning of fall. They don't have to come at the beginning of summer and beginning of spring. They can actually come 2 additional times, midway through fall and midway through spring.
All right, so let me ask a couple of questions about you.
Sure.
Okay, so not having been from this community and now coming into it, you bring a different set of eyes on what you see this campus and how we interact as a faculty and staff with students and how the students, I don't know, just live their lives. What is attractive about this campus? What do you like about it?
So I came from Ivy Tech Systems Office. I spent 3 years at Ivy Tech Systems Office where we worked on the 3rd floor. And
that's in Indianapolis,
right? It is in
We've
Indianapolis,
never talked
Central
about
Indiana.
it. Okay.
So that's the systems office. That's where head of student successes and head of retention and all of those other titles, head of advising, financial aid. That's where the magic happens behind the scenes for people at Ivy Tech and for students. I spent 3 years in roles at systems office and made the jump to a campus, which is unusual. Most people go from a campus to the systems office level, so I sort of made the jump backwards. I am an academic at heart. I'm an early childhood major. I like to be around students. I like to be around children. I do like to be around adults as well. I would say that if I had to describe my experience on the Richmond campus, I would say that we know every single day that we all move to the same beat and we all move for the same mission. All of us want every student that walks through our doors to succeed. At systems office, you're a little bit disconnected from that in that you don't see the benefits. I can see a student in the hallway and I may see them at commencement walk across that stage, and then I can know, man, that really filled my cup and made me feel better, because that's what success looks like and that's why I come every day. I think as a staff and faculty here on the Richmond campus, we're all connected and we're all sort of moving to the same mission, which is a great benefit of being on a campus.
That's wonderful. That just sounds great. Stacy Atkinson, she is the Vice Chancellor here at the Richmond, Connersville, Rushville campus.
Yes.
And if you don't get to see her a whole lot, it's because there's a lot of meetings that Vice Chancellors have to go through, but you're always welcome to stop by anytime on campus and get to visit. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you. As the Richmond Circle of Ivy Chair, please accept our heartfelt thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to share all of the amazing things about our circle.
For me, it's about empowering women. I love the idea that we get to come together collectively and make a difference with some dollars. It's been a fun way to meet new women, but also as a mom of 2 girls, it's important to me. I want them to understand the importance of giving back to Ivy Tech because it's given so much to me.
As women, we need to embrace the power that we have in the economic sector. And so to help another woman to see and understand what her role can be in supporting a project, because most of the projects we do with Circle of Ivy, they're like $200 to $500. They're not huge projects. And so if I gave $25 to a $200 project, that's a lot of that project that I helped to make happen. And to be able to understand that, I think is really important.
They support students in their academic career, and that improves the students' lives, which in turn improves our community.
And I think the thing about Circle of Ivy that's so important to me is you actually feel like you are connected with these innovations and these proposals that are making an impact in the community.
Calculators become an integral part of math class, and depending on the math class that they're in determines which type of calculator that they can do. So a scientific calculator can run a student anywhere from $10 to $30. A graphing calculator can run upwards of $200. And they can be a vital determinant of whether or not they're going to be successful in the course.
The nursing department had NCLEX testing fees for our spring graduates funded by Circle of Ivy.
So these are the fatal impairment goggles. They have been an awareness building tool for our class. It's been super fun. So the purpose of them is it gives individuals with a sober mind the opportunity to see what it's like to be impaired above 0.08. And not only has it created giggles, but it's created really meaningful discussions as we've taken them through various field sobriety tests like walk in a straight line, one leg up. And again, it's just been really meaningful as we've taken those concepts of substance abuse and begin to talk about it in the classroom.
Basically, we were trying to get students more involved in curriculum building and having input into what they do in the classroom. And so they did some exit interviews with the dean, and they had all these more interactive, flipped classroom type learning experiences that they really wanted to participate in. So we decided that we would create this basically career event, so that's why we called it the Career Zip. Instead of sharing all of the different roles that nurses play in the community, we would invite nurses here to Ivy Tech and ideally try to get Ivy Tech grads, and we got a huge percentage that were Ivy Tech grads that were willing to come back to support the next generation of nurses, which was really exciting.
Over the past couple of years, we have seen anywhere from 5 to 10 students who get into that spring semester, get ready to graduate, want to become a nurse, and they just don't have the funding to pay for all of the pieces that go into having to fill out your paperwork, background check, and testing fees to take their licensure exam. So they can get all the way through the program and graduate, but if they don't pass that, they cannot practice with that license.
So inadvertently, because they sat down with 20 different representatives from the community, they actually got to practice their interview skills, and the community kind of got to get to know them a little bit and was kind of looking ahead, so to speak, to say, these people seemed really interested, maybe I'd like them within my organization.
I mean, I look out in my classroom and I see these school bus yellow calculators, and it makes me want to cry that someone believes so much in what we do that they were willing to do that. We're able to meet the need in Connersville and Rushville. Teachers can check out packs for tests. Students don't have to worry about if they forgot their calculator. It doesn't add an extra layer of stress. It's just truly an amazing experience.
So it's been an opportunity to outreach and to not only talk about Ivy Tech, but also talk about substance abuse within Wayne County. We know that substance abuse is negatively impacting our community, and it's been a way to start some meaningful conversations and in a very fun, approachable way.
You know, I was actually invited to join Circle of Ivy, and I personally was thrilled. And the reason that I am is because I love the idea of women coming together and allowing the resources available for students here at Ivy Tech. And for me, it was just, I just felt thrilled to be a part of it. And it would not be hard for me to encourage women to be a part of this wonderful organization that to me develops friendships, develops lots of resource, develops great things for Ivy Tech.
Being a Circle of Ivy member means I am part of something much larger than me. Something that has the same focus and the same emphasis of helping students achieve their desired outcomes. And collectively, we're an example that a little goes a long way. It doesn't really cost a tremendous amount of money to be a Circle of Ivy member, but when you collectively do that together, the impact that you can make to our Ivy Tech students makes me proud to be a Circle of Ivy member every single day.
I sensed the energy when I went to my first meeting in October of 2015. And over the last 4 years, I've been able to see the growth in membership and how powerful we are as a circle.
For me, it is a way to express my belief about what's important for our students and to put not only my dollars behind that, but then my vote. I think a lot of giving, philanthropic giving, you give to an organization because you give to the mission of that organization. This allows me to go even deeper.
I wanted to make a difference in other students' life and help promote a positive educational experience.
Because here we're able to combine our resources and actually have a larger impact for our students locally than we would individually if we contributed.
I just love the friends that I have been able to connect with and new friends. It's a wonderful organization that supports such a wonderful opportunity for Ivy Tech. For the students here, I mean, I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
The Circle of Ivy, the continual, no beginning, no end. Its impact is unquestioned. It's visible every single day on our campus. And it is something that means so much to so many. You see it all around. When you hear people talk about the Circle of Ivy, you get the passion and what it means to them. And so we know that as the circle grows, so does the power of the Circle of Ivy. Thank you for being a part of it, and thank you for making an impact on our students' lives every single day.
I want to bring other people that I love and care about into the Circle of Ivy and have them understand why I think that Ivy Tech is the best thing for the state of Indiana and to drive change in our state.
I don't think thank you is enough. We are truly grateful for everything you've done for us.
Thank you for making a difference in the lives of our students, because truly what we have seen from this does change their lives.
I would say thank you's not enough. It seems like a small tool like this, but it's been really impactful and it's beginning to make a difference. It's starting conversations and it's changing the lives of our students.
Thank you so much. Your support is greatly appreciated. It will continue to affect my life and the lives of others as I continue to grow in my nursing career, and that's big.
So will you join us? Now is your time to make a difference by joining, sponsoring, or supporting. Because thank you just simply is not enough.